Well, this was kind of fun with the kids, but does life ever feel like one big obstacle course? An obstacle course where each time we feel like we're starting to get a little bit ahead or clear something off, we're blocked by yet another crisis, a financial crisis or a failing relationship or a family member's crisis or a school or job or church crisis. Or maybe it's an obstacle course where it feels like there's an individual or a group of people who are trying to block us and tell us that we are unworthy and unwanted, incompetent and incapable. Ever feel that way? It's just one big set of obstacles after another. When those obstacles pop up in our lives, doubts creep into our minds. Is this goal even really worth it? Should I maybe just accept reality and understand that this is how it's going to be? Cut my losses and go back to wherever I started from? Or does that goal call me forward with such passion and intensity that I feel that I have no option but to move towards it regardless of the cost? Beginning last week and continuing through Palm Sunday, we are on the move with God. Last Sunday, we moved with God into the desert. And today, we're moving past obstacles. Next Sunday, we're going to move on down the road with God, and the following week, we're going to witness God move in some mysterious ways. As April begins, we're going to find some new smells on this movement with God, and then finally on Palm Sunday, we'll experience the chaos of moving with animals and all creatures of our God and King. Along the way, we're stopping at a few scenic overlooks. We're meeting a few new people. We're reuniting with some old friends. And, as I said last week, we're going to break a few things. Because it's not really a move if you don't break something. Through it all, this Lent, we will witness how God's movement in the world goes with us in our lives and in our respective ministries. We will see through Jesus' Lenten journey how fear and reassurance, doubt and confidence, grief and celebration work through us and through our lives and keep us moving forward with God. The Reverend Jessica LeBron has allowed me to use her general structure for this Lenten God on the Move sermon series. However, unless I cite otherwise, the images offered, the stories told, the scriptural interpretation, and any other reflections are my own. Let's move. There are a lot of TV shows today that feature obstacle courses. American Ninja Warrior, The Titan Games, $1 Million Mile, Amazing Race, and of course Survivor, which has been throwing puzzles and elaborate obstacle courses in front of its contestants for 20 years. Three things that I will observe about these shows. One, apparently competing for money really is a good motivator. Because people will try all types of things in order to achieve that goal of winning the money. Whether it's eating bugs on Survivor, bouncing off red balls in Wipeout, or sprinting up a warped wall in Ninja Warrior. There is an endless stream of folks who will gladly sign up for this punishment and gladly sign up for this challenge, even though they know they will probably fail. Second, it is really entertaining to watch people try to run these obstacle courses. And third, for the most part, not always, but for the most part, we root for the contestants and greet each fall or fail with a somewhat sympathetic, ooh. I think that these shows are so entertaining for us, so popular, because we all know what it's like to confront an obstacle. That warped wall it's symbolic of all those other obstacles and walls in our lives. And regardless of how it actually goes for them, we love watching people give it everything they've got. Try their hardest to get over that obstacle and move on to whatever the next challenge is going to be. We haven't run the specific course that they're on, but we sure know what it feels like to give it our all, to try to overcome an obstacle. Because these types of obstacles, they're just a given in our lives. Clinical psychologists have long reminded us that how we view our obstacles in our lives affects how we react to them. Our view of an obstacle affects how we react to it. If we view it as an impossible barrier to climb, we will stop in our tracks or head back home. But if we view the barrier as a puzzle to solve or an opportunity to grow, we will try to learn how to fly in order to get over it. How we view obstacles in our lives affects how we react to them. Well, Jesus is well on his way to Jerusalem when two obstacles are thrown into his way. Some Pharisees with some very questionable motivation come up to him and tell him to get away from there because Herod wants to kill him. This was no idle threat. Herod Antipas, who is by now the tetrarch and the ruler of the region, Herod Antipas' father, Herod the Great, had wanted to kill Jesus at his birth. John the Baptist had been killed. Countless other prophets had been massacred in Jerusalem. The Pharisees were simply informing him of what they knew to be true. Rome would kill him if he didn't turn back. It was just a happy bonus for the Pharisees that their personal corruption and collaboration with Rome and Herod and Pilate, that all of that would go unchallenged if Jesus viewed this as an impossible barrier to overcome. Well, Jesus sized up this obstacle, and he considered Herod specifically and Jerusalem in general. Our view of an obstacle affects how we react to it. And our reaction to an obstacle tells the world how we viewed it. We know Jesus' view of these two obstacles, what he thought of them, because we know how he reacted to them. Jesus told the Pharisees, "Go and tell that fox, Herod, for me." Fox. Foxes are small animals who mostly prey on weak animals. They aren't wolves who attack the strong. Foxes usually run away from a challenge. Foxes hunt and kill the vulnerable, the young, the sick. They attack the lost animals, or the outcast animals, or the animal that finds itself by itself. Foxes devour the baby chicks, the children, and the lost. In other words, foxes attack precisely the people that Jesus came to save. The lost sheep, the orphan child, the widowed woman, the wounded man, the foreign family, the poverty-stricken, the prostitute, tax collector, and everyone else that society put off by themselves. Herod was attacking the people that Jesus came to save. You tell that fox, "I'm not afraid of him. I will bring God's love to the ones he would attack. Where he sees vulnerability, I see courage. Where he sees illness, I see wholeness. Where he sees shame, I see glory. Those that he sees as least and last in the kingdom of Rome, I see as first and greatest in the kingdom of God. And yes, Jerusalem, Jerusalem, the city that kills the prophets and stones those who are sent to it. It's true. It's a city where good people go and get corrupted or destroyed. It is an obstacle. Well, can we think of a city today that fits this definition? A city where voices that speak the truth find themselves silenced? A city where the wealthy and powerful and privileged exploit the vulnerable? Can we think of a city, I don't know, maybe somewhat south of here, where good, honest people go and end up so badly corrupted by access to money, power, and sex that it's like they've been destroyed? Can we name this city even? Go ahead and just shout it with me on 3. 1, 2, 3. Washington. Las Vegas. Wilmington. Philadelphia. New York. Los Angeles. Seattle. Portland. Minneapolis. We can go down the list, actually. You were right, Michael. Jerusalem. Even the heart of the faith. A city where people recognized that good people had gone and ended up corrupted and destroyed. Jerusalem, Jerusalem. The city walls are an easy obstacle. The city culture is a major threat. That combination of power, money, sex, and religiosity corrupted people. Mind you, Jesus is kind of shading the Pharisees just a little bit as he does all of this, because he's really talking about them. About how they personally have been corrupted by their collaboration with Herod. The culture of corruption that they were perpetuating was just as big of an obstacle as the process that Rome was using to crucify. Foxes are dangerous, and Jerusalem destroys them. And yet, serious though they are, Jesus ends up viewing these obstacles as part of his journey. He will move past them towards his goal, and his goal wasn't to be crucified. That was an outcome. Jesus' goal, proclaimed as his first message in all 4 Gospels, his goal was to show that the kingdom of God had come near. That God's love for all people would know no boundaries. It would overcome all obstacles. And so we learn of a Messiah who moves past supposedly good religious people who think they know better and worldly leaders who think they know what power is really like. We learn of a Messiah who moves past people who think that he is crazy, family members who think that he is shameful, villagers who think that he eats with the wrong people, farmers who think that he is planting the wrong seed in the wrong place and drawing from the wrong well, and wasting his time looking for one sheep when there are 99 right here. In Jesus, we have this ongoing story of a God who moves past every obstacle that is put in the way. Jerusalem will devour its prophet. Rome will crucify the one sent to earth. And even then, God will overcome the obstacle. Love overcomes hatred. Love overcomes violence. Love overcomes death itself. Because 2,000 years ago and today, God moves past all obstacles.